While the intention of most actions in the Trump administration are to distract the media's focus from the issues that really matter, there is one issue that Donald Trump cannot get the media to stop talking about, and that is the civil war happening within his own administration between Elon Musk and his cabinet secretaries. Elon's cuts at DOGE have Marco Rubio, Sean Duffy, and Pete Hegseth absolutely furious, and the leaks continue to come out. And Donald Trump's press secretary, being terrible at her job, cannot do anything to cover it up and is now attacking the media for investigating it. And we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we can get into this story of Karoline Leavitt having a bit of a freak out, I think we need some context on the latest on what's happening right here.
President Trump is finally reining in Elon Musk after the unelected billionaire received a behind-the-scenes smackdown from cabinet members. Tensions flared at a closed-door meeting Thursday between Trump, Musk, and the cabinet. Two sources told NBC News Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy confronted Musk over the mass firings at their agencies. According to the Times, Secretary Rubio sarcastically offered to rehire employees, quote, so Musk could make a show of firing them again. The Times reports Secretary Duffy also slammed Musk's cuts at the FAA. Quote, Mr. Duffy said the young staff of Mr. Musk's team was trying to lay off air traffic controllers. What am I supposed to do, Mr. Duffy said. I have multiple plane crashes to deal with now, and your people want me to fire air traffic controllers? Musk said that was a lie, according to the report. Come on. Trump has denied any clashes between Musk and his cabinet, but said he told cabinet secretaries that staffing decisions will be left up to them. And he's calling for a more careful approach to mass layoffs. In a social media post, Trump instructed secretaries to use, quote, the scalpel rather than the hatchet. Can't use a scalpel on ground beef. Joining me now, former Congressman Joe Walsh from Illinois and host of the podcast, The Social Contract, and Neera Tanden, President and CEO of the Center for American Progress and former domestic policy advisor to President Biden. Thank you both very much for coming to the Saturday show. Okay, Neera, of the three of us here at the table, you're the only one who's actually worked in the White House.
I've been in cabinet meetings.
Right.
And usually in the cabinet meeting, the Secretary of Transportation isn't alluding to plane crashes because people are trying to fire air traffic controllers. And so I'm just here to tell you that that is totally insane. And we should all be incredibly worried because the fact that the Secretary of Transportation is saying that Elon Musk wants to actually help create plane crashes is deeply disturbing.
But the other thing about that vignette, and it's the opening of the New York Times story, it's Elon Musk yelling at the Secretary of State, first in line in the line of succession, yelling at the Secretary of State that he's not firing enough people. Joe, this, on the one hand, I'm appalled because nobody elected Elon Musk to nothing. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, good for Secretary Rubio for giving as good as he got.
But shame on Secretary Rubio and Duffy for not saying any of this publicly.
Okay, well, yeah, there is.
And Neera said insane. That word insane. This is an insane way to run a government. And I think what you're feeling and hearing, and we're going to see more of this, Jonathan, is voters back home have had it up to here with this chaos and incompetence. Nobody seems to know what we're doing. Elon Musk, again, I'll say until I'm blue in the face, if we had a legislative branch, his butt would have been hauled in front of Congress a month ago under oath.
I think it is an important point raised there at the end that no one in Congress or no one in Trump's cabinet wants Elon going on the record, right? These are people who are trying to quell these rumors, stop the media from covering what's happening, but they're also too scared to talk about it, or they know it's going to backfire. If Elon Musk wanted to communicate how great of a job that DOGE is doing, and of course I say that in jest, he should go before Congress and testify. And if he wants to dismiss the rumors of this MAGA civil war, go to the press, go to the media. You tweet so much, do you not want to talk about the things you're tweeting about? Well, apparently not, because Karoline Leavitt recognizes this is a problem, and she is now attacking the reporters who are calling it out. And we can see that in her meltdown on Fox right here.
Well, you know, Karoline, you and I have had the opportunity to both spend a lot of time around President Trump and Elon Musk. There's a lot of palace intrigue about what's happening in that relationship, what Elon's relationship is like with, you know, the rest of these government officials. Once and for all, can we dispel the rumors that there is some ongoing feud between Elon Musk, President Trump, Secretary of State Marco Rubio? What do you say about that?
I can confirm there is no such feud. In fact, I was at Mar-a-Lago last night with President Trump, Elon Musk, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and all was well. The president convened a meeting last week with members of his cabinet and with Elon to talk about this historic effort that everybody is on board with to identify the waste, fraud, and abuse across our federal government. And the meeting was highly productive. It was an open dialogue and discussion, which is exactly what the president's team should be doing, engaging with one another to implement the president's goals. And so everybody is on board with President Trump's mission and Doge's mission to identify this waste and fraud, to be good stewards of the American taxpayers' money. And both Elon and Marco are doing an incredible job in their respective roles. And that's true of everybody in President Trump's cabinet. He has really put together an extraordinary team. And I think it's pitiful that the mainstream media is working overtime to try to divide President Trump from Elon and from other members of his cabinet, but their attempts are failing. Everybody is working as one team towards one goal, and it's to make America great again.
Why won't Elon come out and say anything? Why haven't we heard anything from Marco Rubio or Sean Duffy? Why is the only communication about this from Donald Trump's Truth Social feed, in which he tweeted in a really strange way in all caps about the great relationship everyone has? Yeah, it's really gonna dispel with these rumors. But Karoline Leavitt attacking the media, saying that this is their fascination. Yeah, when 6 weeks into this thing, it's already all falling apart, and there's very obvious infighting between the unelected Elon Musk wannabe co-president and Donald Trump's cabinet. Yeah, you'd think we would care about that, because Donald Trump clearly cares to cover it all up. And like I said, they're usually trying to distract, but they can't get us to not focus on this issue. But one issue, of course, that they're really trying to distract from is the cuts to Medicaid and future cuts to Social Security that Donald Trump and Elon Musk want to move forward with. And on this very terrible issue, I did have the pleasure of asking Speaker Nancy Pelosi what she would do to call out Elon Musk on just that.
Hi, Madam Speaker. So Elon Musk is more than happy to tweet about 1,800 times a day about wanting to cut Social Security and Medicaid, but he's too afraid to come before Congress and hear y'all confront him. If Elon stopped being a coward and actually came to Congress, what would you want to say to him?
Well, we would like to tell him what he probably doesn't know, the value of Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security.
Absolutely.
And that's why, as my special guest tonight, I have Elena here, whose daughter has a child with other abilities, and she is here to talk about the value of Medicaid.
Medicaid is a life-saving program for millions of Americans, including children with complex medical needs and disabilities. So if Elon Musk were here, we would say we don't want to steal from our disabled children in order to give tax breaks to the wealthy, to giant corporations.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Madam Speaker, for being in this fight with us. Thank you.
This is a picture of Elena. She was founded. Well, you tell me.
Yeah, so we founded in 2017 and really in response to the ACA repeal fight. They've been coming after our children ever since, and we keep fighting back.
We gotta fight back.
Little lobbyists, it's called. And the children came and lobbied for Medicaid.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Elon has no empathy. Neither does Trump. This administration does not care about working people. They have made that incredibly clear. Their focus is building a government by the billionaires, for the billionaires. That is what it is all about. We see that in every action that they take. We see that in the way that Donald Trump surrounds himself with the wealthiest people in the history of the world. It becomes more and more clear every day. And it's the point that we need to communicate most often. And Bernie Sanders is certainly doing that. And he did so in a recent town hall right here.
The House Budget Committee released their report, their budget, $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid. Do you know what that means? It's not only that millions of people kids are going to be thrown off the health insurance they have. Devastating to nursing homes. 40% of the revenue coming into community health centers. 30 million people get their health care at community health centers. That's coming from Medicaid. You cut Medicaid, you're going to dismember an already broken health care system. What are they going to do with that money? They're going to give it to tax breaks for the richest people in America. Over $1 trillion goes in tax breaks to the top 1%. That is what these guys want. They want more wealth. They want more power. American people are going to have to stop them.
Well, and what you're referencing, this is like the blueprint, essentially, that we got from House Republicans. It's not clear what realistically they're going to be able to pass here, but they're looking to have $4.5 trillion in tax cuts. Right. And basically, this plan instructed the Energy and Commerce Committee, which oversees Medicaid, to find those $880 billion in cuts. Realistically, what should voters be worried about if you hear from some moderate Republicans who say, we're not going to touch Medicaid, that's not going to be on the table?
Well, no one is saying that. I mean, right now, what we are trying to do in a House which is almost evenly divided, if 2 Republicans, 2 out of 435 members, say, you know what, we're not going to vote to give tax breaks to billionaires and cut programs that children and the elderly and the hungry desperately need. 2 Republicans. Their proposal is dead. And we're going to work hard to make sure not only do we get 2, they'll get a hell of a lot more than 2.
On the Elon Musk front, when it comes to Social Security payments and what is actually wrong with government and what's exaggerated, we're hearing this line from the White House that tens of millions of people are getting Social Security fraudulently. Either they're dead or... Yeah,
I don't believe that for a second.
We've gotten no evidence of it, but I looked into this, and what we do know is that there's a lot of people that still remain in the database, but as far as people who are actually getting payments, it was 44,000 who got payments according to an audit that was done in 2023.
Out of how many millions?
There's... tens of millions. So when they say tens of millions, that would be
this is what we are dealing with. We're not only dealing with oligarchy, the incredible power of the very, very rich. We're not only dealing with a move toward authoritarianism, we're dealing with what is new to America. You know, politicians have always lied, nothing new about that. But the level that we're seeing right now, the big lie, over and over again, and it goes out, there's a big lie, and then it goes out on Musk's Twitter, to, several hundred million people.
This is how we message. We must ultimately always be connecting this back to the issue at the heart of Donald Trump's presidency, that he promised to lower your costs and immediately betrayed you in an effort to make the richest people in America and in the history of the world even richer. He will always sell you out for himself and for his rich buddies. That is what we have to talk about, and it's what we're going to talk about every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.